Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you are ready for a great weekend. We're going to do our part to kick it off by having some fun Disney talk. Ricky and Scott join me, and we talk about attractions, even Disney transportation systems, restaurants even, that are better maybe during the daytime, early morning, at night, different seasons of the year. Just when you should optimally experience some experiences down at Walt Disney World or even Disneyland. Today, we have a fun time just kind of taking a virtual vacation and really thinking about when is an optimal time to have a few of these great Disney experiences. So come along with us. It's a great way to start the weekend. We are sponsored, as always, by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure, whether it's to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney. We'll help you plan that trip for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's one extra click, supports everything we do. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And also our Patreon supporters, you guys are all-stars. So thank you so very much for that. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this weekend. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2575 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to homecoming weekend at Mizzou. I know it is also, I believe, homecoming weekend up in East Lansing, Michigan for the Spartans. I don't know about Georgia, but 2 out of 3. Is it?
Georgia's playing Texas this week, aren't they?
No, yeah, they're on the road. They're down in Austin. Yeah, so it is not homecoming weekend for Georgia.
That is a matchup. Holy cow.
By the way, I mean, you've seen the memes if you're any kind of a sports fan. If you have scheduled a wedding this Saturday, what are you doing? If I had to go to a wedding this weekend, it's harsh because you got Tennessee, Alabama, you got Georgia, Texas. You got a lot of Mizzou plays Auburn. We need this game. I mean, I have my good friend Ian, big Auburn fan. Talk to you Sunday. Love you, Ian. All right, let's talk Disney though before I lose any other friends. As I'm at the zoo on 11 o'clock on Saturday tomorrow. We'll see you there. Anyway, we're going to talk Disney. We're going to have fun today because we're going to bounce from Disneyland to Walt Disney World and talk about attraction shows, experiences, maybe even dining. That is better maybe at night, during the day, maybe in the wintertime, in the summertime, just different times of the year. When is it its optimal experience? And to do that, a little virtual vacation here to kick off the weekend. We have Scotty G. Check him out at Must See Adventures over on YouTube. What's up, Scott?
Happy homecoming week, Mike. And, you know, I've been catching up on, like I say, catching up in quotes. I mean, I listen to the shows live. I download them all, as everyone here should be downloading all the podcasts of Be Our Guest. But, I listen later, you know, so as you know, I've been doing this walking challenge and I've been listening to a lot of old episodes. And I just heard you say this like yesterday as I was on a walk did you know that homecoming was created in Columbia for Missouri? So I'm surprised you didn't say that just now because I heard you just say that.
I was just getting ready to say, yes, homecoming is officially created at the University of Missouri. Yes.
There you go. And then, yeah, the Spartans are having homecoming. We got Iowa coming to town. Big game. Shout out to our friend Jason. He's going to be doing some reporting for the broadcast, sharing some stats. So big shout out there. And yeah, go Spartans, go Tigers.
Iowa's found an offense. I mean, I know people don't like sports, but it's true.
I know. And the Spartans are still a new head coach trying to rebuild, you know. He was actually doing some recruiting at a local football game. My friend spotted him at a school a couple towns over this last weekend. It was our bye week, and he he saw John Smith out there doing some recruiting, and he's a Michigan fan, so he gave him a bad shout out. I'll just say that. I'll let you keep it on there.
I love college football. College football is undefeated, man. It is the best. Yeah, I love when they come in on their choppers for Friday Night Lights. It's the best. They're like gods. It's just, I'd love to live that life for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm excited for the weekend. Excited for this topic. I'm already starting to write down some ideas. Happy to get into the weekend with the two of you today.
Let's go. Best way, talking Disney. Because nobody loses when you talk Disney. But college football,
Usually.
heartbreak a lot. Well, sometimes you're right. It has. It's given me heartbreak once or twice. 2020 was not great. Ricky from the mouseforless.com and to DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. Ricky, how are things down in Georgia? What's up?
Oh, am I still a part of the podcast?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
cool.
hey,
I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
I mean, you're not really a Dogs fan, but your coach, man, wiped out he took out like a Mississippi State player. I mean, just totally blasted him on the way to a referee last week. But we're not going to talk about that. Go ahead.
I wouldn't know.
You
I
wouldn't.
don't care.
And we don't talk
It's
about we don't talk about how the dogs drive either. But go ahead.
No, they don't. I could care less.
Very quickly. Go ahead.
Yes, could care less. No, we have a really great weekend in store, actually. So we are going to there's a fall festival at Lucy's school we're going to go to. There's a kind of a fall festival at a local civic center that we're going to go to, and that's all in the same day at like the same time. So we got to try to get to both places at once. And I think my in-laws are in town, so I think we're going to another kind of festival. So it's a festival kind of weekend, I feel like, this weekend. Lots of things going on. We'll see how this goes.
Is this on Saturday, anytime between 11 and 10 at night?
Oh, the festival? The one, I mean, yeah, I think they both they're both like in that sweet time of morning or after late like early afternoon, late morning, early afternoon. So yeah,
I'd imagine you'll have lots of elbow room at that thing in Georgia.
I mean, sometimes not. It won't be that bad, I'm sure. So
you're playing
I know
Texas.
what you're getting at.
Anyway, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. So
okay. All right, well, have fun.
It's a big deal here, but it's not as like people still go and do things. I'm just saying, like they leave their house
in Georgia.
Yeah, in Georgia, they do leave their house and they go do things, and then they maybe watch the game later, or they watch it, like while they're walking around.
Okay.
They have these things called phones.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that
you
is
can
true.
stream it on your
Big
phone.
game.
Like outside in public. So there's that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk Disney. Let's get to it because I'm super excited for this topic. And it was actually a show suggestion from Carl. And he said, I think I have a good idea for a show, which is to say attractions you should definitely do after dark and which ones you should do during the day. For example, he says, Slinky Dog is one to go on at night, while Star Tours is a daytime ride to get out of the sun because the ride is indoors. You may have done this in the past, but I don't recall ever listening to this topic. Thanks. And Carl is in Franklin, Tennessee.
Nice.
So,
Franklin.
That's Franklin's your place, man.
Our regional headquarters are in Franklin. Yeah,
that's right.
Nice.
He'll be maybe at Neyland tonight or tomorrow or tonight. Tomorrow. It's Friday. I can't remember what day of the week it is because we do these.
Or maybe just where the powerhouse Vanderbilt is
yeah,
playing.
it's true. Vandy. You don't mess with Diego Pavia. Anyway, so here we go. I love this idea. And he's practical. He's more practical. Like Star Tours, inside, let's get out of the sun. It's hot. I like that.
Not bad.
That is good. And Slinky Dog is beautiful at night. Toy Story Land in general is awesome at night with the Christmas lights and so forth. But Scott, you said you were making a list, so kick us off. What do you got? Because you were
I was making a list.
So go ahead. What do you got?
I'm checking it twice now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And I'm gonna go with one because I don't want anyone to steal it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna let you do.
Gotcha.
So I stole your thunder on Wednesday with Boardwalk and stuff. So go ahead.
We're gonna go to one of the greatest theme parks in the world, Disney's Animal Kingdom Park.
I knew that was where you were.
And you have to do. I did like a double here. You got to be the first group on Kilimanjaro Safari, and you have to do it like in the wintertime where it's cooler temps because the animals are going to be a little more active. I think it's going to be a more comfortable ride. So I like doing a wintertime, early morning safari ride because it just doesn't get better than that to me. Great way to start the day. The animals are active. You're comfortable. Your safari driver has a fresh voice, so the narration's going to be good. They're not tired. It's just a great experience. And honestly is one of the greatest attractions ever made. So it's long, it's educational, it's so much fun. So got to go with the safari first.
I can't add anything to that. That's perfect because the animals are charged up, the drivers are charged up, everybody's fresh, and perfect time to do it. That's exactly right. And it is a long attraction, and it is the soul. It is the heartbeat of that park. It is what the park's made of.
Kills you though. So if you're trying to do the negative to that, I would say, if it's like you're trying to get a lot done that day, it sucks so much time out of your day, right? So you do that, you're going to be behind on a lot of other things. So like optimal planning would probably be to go to like Flight of Passage first, right? And then maybe Navi River Journey. But I feel like you get that best experience going there, but then you're gonna have to play catch up on some of the other attractions during the day.
I will say though, I have done this before, not the morning one, obviously, because look at who you're talking to. But I've done the nighttime one, but not the one where it was before, where they had like the weird like screen that made it look like it was
Honey Badger.
sunset.
Listen, I hear a honey badger.
That was so weird. I mean, it was a great idea in theory, but maybe not in execution. But anyway, when they're about to like close for the day, because we all know Animal Kingdom closes the earliest. I mean, they're closed at like 7 o'clock or earlier, I feel like. So if you take that last safari, and usually it's not at park close, it's usually about 40 minutes or so before park close. But if you do one of those last few safari rides, I think that that's actually a really optimal time to do that attraction, because I find the animals are a little, while they may be a little
you're getting ready to catch the bus back to the
they're ready to go. They have a timetable and they know it. So they're getting ready to head back to the corrals back there. So you are going to see them move a little bit, be a little more active. I've actually seen the lions be very active in the evening time, where they start roaring and they're actually awake. So, I mean, that is an option to do it as the last thing that you do at Disney's Animal Kingdom, because I feel like if you're not going to be able to do it in the morning and you do want to do some of those other things like Flight of Passage, then you definitely want to hit up Kilimanjaro Safaris as the last thing that you do, because I think that your animal experience is going to be maybe just as good, if not slightly better, than the one in the morning.
Both answers are right, honestly.
I think they are.
I agree.
You just can't do it you can't do either.
You can't do it in the middle of the afternoon, especially not in the middle of July. The animals are just going to be like, I don't want to move. Just like the rest of us.
Well, I mean, look at your dog. If you have a dog, your dog's sleeping in the middle of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
I mean, mine's sleeping on my lap right now. So
middle of the day. I mean, totally. And also what I'm thinking is with that, if you do it at the end of the day, very few people are going to be that deep in the park. It's say 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Most people have left the park by then and have hopped to a different park or have left for the day. But if they're still in the park, they're going to tend to be in Pandora or maybe getting their last ride on Everest or something like that.
Yeah, and then you do because I've done that last safari too, Ricky. We did over spring break and it was awesome. It was just a walk on, cooler temperatures at that point in the day too. It was beautiful over spring break. But now you got more live, like Burduka is back, you can like catch some live entertainment afterwards, like great way to close out your day. So
I agree with that.
You're trying to convince me the other way on there. I
like morning first, but I mean, it's like 1A and 1B.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it is a sacrifice in the morning. But I mean, it's like, what's your priority, right? I mean, Kilimanjaro Safaris is basically the mission statement come to life of the park. But if you're there to see, like, experience e-ticket with Flight of Passage, then maybe jump over to a Great Coaster and Everest. I mean, it's two different experiences. It's like, what's your goal of the day?
For sure.
Kind of thing. All right. My goal of the day is to give my first one before Ricky steals this one.
Hear it.
I'm heading out to,
I have a few ideas.
I'm going to Disneyland.
Of course you are.
And it's my favorite land. It's Cars Land in general. And it's at sunset. I don't care what. And it's really, I think summertime is optimal.
Oh, yeah.
Cars Land on a summer night, sunset. Right at that corner in front of Flo's. And I mean, you could do any of the attractions. It doesn't matter. You could do Mater's or it's especially Luigi's though. Luigi's at night is killer.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Luigi's, I'm telling you, I don't know why I love this attraction so much. So Radiator Springs is probably one of my favorite. It might be my favorite attraction. I love Radiator Springs. That's the only attraction I've ever bought an individual lightning lane for. And I'm I'm so tight. I will not spend extra money, but I did once and I didn't regret it. I paid $18 to ride that ride. I did not regret it. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but I loved it. I had a smile on my face, saw the waterfall, went through the rocks. We raced the other car. That is such a great attraction. It is so, I'm smiling about it a year later. It's great. So at night though, it's even, it doesn't matter what time really, but at night with all the neon, but I think there's something about, because I mean, we grew up kind of on Route 66 here in Missouri, and it's just like, it just reminds me of summertime. I don't know why, but that's like my context of life, like summertime, cruising Route 66, neon lights, warm like shirts and shorts, shirt sleeves, shorts, just the music playing. God, I love that. That's my jam. So that's what I would say for Cars Land in general. But yeah,
Man,
Luigi's is the best. I love that little attraction.
Luigi's
is so cool.
Good.
Yeah,
and it's just fun to it's fun when you're on it, but I love being like in the corral before, just watching everyone before me. Like, cause it's fun when I love it when everyone puts their hands up in the air when you do that last spin.
Yes, that's so fun.
And the music is really fun. Like, you got Luigi talking, like it's so good. And then all the neon. Oh my God, why can't we be there right now? I want to be there right now.
Man, that is such a good land. That is so good.
You can't. I mean, you missed the whole biggest part of being there, and that's for the Shaboom.
Oh, so I mean basically that's what I'm saying at sunset. Yeah, the Shaboom.
Well, yeah, you got to be there for the actual Shaboom. Like, you could be there at sunset, but you got to make sure that you're there in time for that part, because that is really the coolest part of, I mean, when they flip on that neon and it lights up the entire space, and it is so magical. You can't even, pictures, videos, whatever, they can't describe how magical it is except for seeing it in person. It's really cool.
And they do it up for Christmas with some Christmas decorations.
Absolutely.
But I think I like
and
it.
Halloween too.
Yeah, but in Halloween, I've seen, like Mater is like the pumpkin and stuff. But to me, like, I think it's almost as good in like its natural pure form. Like, that's one of those things that, a lot of things are just way better with like their overlays. And I like the overlays. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of fun to have that. But I mean, I think like Cars Land is just like pure, almost perfect in its pure form. Like, it's so good. It is so, I mean, I'm not even a huge Cars movie. It's kind of like Haunted Mansion Holiday. Like, I don't even like that movie. That movie is so weird. I've never been able to get to the end of it. It's just so, and I know some people love it. And I think your brain has to like be a certain way to like that movie. And I'm not saying it's wrong or right. You just have to be programmed like for a certain kind of like, it's just that kind of like animation where it's all like jumpy, or like stop motion. I'm old. Like, I don't know, man. It's funky and that we're talking, but man, Haunted Mansion Holiday is my jam. I don't know why. It's just so cool. Look, it's the visuals of it just pop in that place. Disneyland's so cool. I love it. I can't wait to get back. Anyway, Ricky, go ahead. Give us something.
Okay. So I'm kind of going to go for a twofer. And it really depends on what kind of experience you want to have with this attraction, or these attractions, I guess I should say. So I'm going to go with Space Mountain and Haunted Mansion. And here's why I'm going with both of those. They are two very different attractions. Obviously, the preferred way of seeing it is at night for both of those attractions, because it's a much cooler experience for both of them. Space Mountain is just ridiculously awesome at night. But the cool thing about it at night is, and of course, Haunted Mansion is just like next level at night. I mean, seriously, it just really takes on a whole new meaning at night. But the thing that really makes both of these attractions special at night is that your eyes have adjusted a lot better, obviously, because the sun is not out. And so it means that you can see a lot better in both of those attractions. Now, the flip side of that, though, is if you want to not be able to see as well, like especially for, say, Space Mountain, where you really kind of want to have it be more in the dark per se, I would say the daytime is a better experience. So for both of those attractions, because again, you're not going to be able to see things as well as clearly.
You would have to walk super fast through the queue so that your eyes can't adjust, almost sprint.
I still think your eyes are not adjusted fully. Let's be perfectly honest. So, because it's a totally different experience, I feel like at night, I see things so much clearer on both of those attractions. once my eyes have really adjusted. Now, of course, the best time though, we're gonna go back to Space Mountain. The best time to ride it is during the Halloween party when it is completely pitch black and it's nighttime. Because let me tell you, that is terrifying. I just did it here a couple weeks ago. It is absolutely one of the most terrifying things. However, I will also say I've done Space Mountain at Christmas and they have strobe lights lighting everything up. That's in a weird way almost scarier because of the fact that you can see everything and the lights are like flashing everywhere and you're like, oh my gosh, this attraction looks so rickety. So, definitely, that's a totally different, ball of wax there. But yeah, I think that, both of those attractions at night for me is the better experience. However, I can absolutely understand why you'd want to do them in the daytime too, because you might not want to be able to see as well.
Quick hot take about Space Mountain 2, real quick. Just as somebody who's been to Walt Disney World many, many times, we all have, and our listeners have too. And when it's dark and you can't see the track, which is most of the time, right? And you have the track memorized, as we all do, right? But you forget what side you're on, because you have two sides, right? And you think you have it memorized. So because it's a rough ride, especially at World, it's a rough ride. And, sometimes, because I'll ride it I'm an idiot. I'll ride it over Marathon Weekend. You should not ride that thing in Marathon Weekend because your body is so sore anyway from all those running. And you probably shouldn't be on it anyway. That thing is so it tears you to shreds. And so you have the track memorized, so you can kind of tense yourself and you're getting ready to go left hard. But then if you forget what side of the track you're on and you prepare yourself for a 90-degree left turn at 30 miles an hour and it's a right. Oh, dude, it moves your rib bone. You know what I'm saying? It's so painful. And I know this old man problems, but it is so, it could, you got to go to the chiropractor when you come home. It's crazy. That thing is so you shouldn't be guessing on that track. It's just brace for anything. Because it is kind of like a minor fender bender every time you ride it. It's like a Matterhorn. Do the Matterhorns too. Oof.
At least you could where you're going.
Real quick, Matterhorn, better at night or during the day? Because there's both elements to that.
I don't think I've ever ridden it at night.
I've done it at night. I've done both.
It's so much better at night.
Is it?
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
So.
I never thought about it, but I've never done it during the night. I need to make that, fix that.
It just with the Yeti and everything, it just it intensifies the attraction more.
I do
for
love
me.
Again, tears me up, man. It's
it tears everybody up.
I'll say that the Dark Space Mountain though during the Halloween party is the greatest.
It is so great
experience.
Yeah.
One year we were with the Andersons and Beth and we all got on. I don't think Beth did, but we didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh.
And me, Hugh, and Emily and Wade were this is the greatest thing ever. And I remember
yes.
But then the line was so long, we were trying to do all these other things, but it was right before park closing, and we were Frontierland. I think we just did Booty U or whatever. Me, Hugh, and Emily, we kind of looked at each other we got to go for it, right? So we just did the dash, we know we were talking about quick, intense things, how quick can you get from one point to the other? We had to set a world record for how fast we got to Space Mountain so we could do it again. But then I think we did it again right after too. It was that is the greatest Space Mountain experience ever. I just love it so much.
Cool. That's it's so great.
Wade knows, he's in the chat right now. It was so awesome. Wade might have came that second time. I don't know. I just know it was for sure me, you, and Emily, and we just ran through that part to get a second experience because it was so good.
So when it was pitch black though, were you guessing where the turns were?
You couldn't you
can't,
man.
Yeah.
You can't see anything. You don't know when a turn is coming at all.
No,
it's like playing Russian roulette
close.
with the track, man. I am not playing that, man. I am too. Man, I'm too.
It's
too
you think it's dark, but you can see the track a little. I feel especially if you've ridden it enough,
if you're towards the front, you can.
Turns.
Yeah.
But at the Halloween party, no, it is.
Man, it is so good.
Oh,
it's fun to do the people mover too during that time too.
That's true.
All right, Scott, give us another one.
So I was gonna go with a restaurant because we've done three rides.
I like it. Yeah.
So I will say I'm more of a have a counter service for lunch, have a table service for dinner. But for my next one, the night experience for this counter service restaurant is so much better, and that is the Yorkshire Fish, the County Fish Shop at Epcot, because who wants to have hot fish and
Yes.
French fries in the middle of the day, right?
No,
Like, especially
no.
in summertime, it is just too
Mhm.
much. It is hot and it is so busy. You're going to end up sitting on a curb somewhere. Mike, I know you've done this, right? You
Dude,
sat
I
on a
did this.
curb.
Okay, I was just saying because I finished the marathon. I think it was last year. It was recently.
I saw you over there because I was coming through. Like,
I fought through the crowds to get to that stand. I mobile ordered because the thing was they wouldn't let me across the path. Or what, I was trying to get across to Cheers. You know how it is madness in Epcot, right? To get to. I was trying to get to you. I was trying to get to Elizabeth or something. She was on the.
I ended up running right by you at that point too, I think.
So I was like, smart, right? I was like, I mobile ordered some fish and chips. So I told the person, I was like, look, I have a mobile order on the other side of the path. I got to get across to my fish and chips. Dude, I don't care, dude. It was like 1 o'clock and I just run 28 miles according to my run keeper. That's it. I'll tell you what, it tasted so dang good. I don't care if it was 100 degrees and I was in the blazing sun. It was awesome.
Yeah. But the
I know what you're
evening
saying.
experience, the night experience is so much better for that. And once because like the food is so hot.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I've sat on the curb there in the UK, just like eating it. I'm like, this is ridiculous because the seating is so full. But my other reason is the seating. Like if you can find like a good seat on like a cool night or whatever, and you're just looking out at the World Showcase Lagoon, like it is one of the most beautiful spots, I think, and it can be quiet too. Like if you get really down there, there's some tables and chairs down there. We used to watch Harmonious from down there a lot. It is just an awesome spot to be. You just relax. You got your fish and chips. It's comfortable, and I think that experience is so much different at night than it is during the day. In my opinion, so much better.
I agree. Yeah, totally.
But I'm not saying like I'm not against having fish and chips in the middle of the day either.
No.
It tastes so good. It sounds so good right now. A little tartar sauce.
But I just something
vinegar.
about that at night. It's just so good, and you just relax on the lagoon. Just perfect.
I was trying to think of the birds as aggressive at night because the birds are wild. Like at lunchtime.
Oh, that's true.
That's the thing you got to contend with at that place is the birds.
That's true.
Those birds.
I think they've done a lot better. Like Flame Tree used to be the worst.
Flame Tree was awful.
Like poor Mike and his family. Like in our early days of like getting to know each other's families, like Emily had the biggest meltdown at Flame Tree once because like Emily hates birds.
Oh no,
they're crazy.
They just kept like coming after her the whole time. And Emily had a meltdown.
Well, because I mean, and they're big. Those birds are. I mean, they're big birds.
Yeah,
I mean, not.
That's
big
the only
bird,
time
but...
I've ever really seen Emily have a meltdown. It's weird. It's like over birds, like getting after her food. Like it's happened multiple times. It's crazy.
I get it.
Yeah.
So here's my midday.
But they cleaned that area up.
They
have fixed that spot so much better now because they have like distractions now, or like kind of like how they do at the Mexican counter service restaurant. They kind of have like that big owl, that sits in the pavilion area that kind of prevents birds from coming. I think they started doing something like that at the fish and chip area. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, like birds though, man. You gotta be careful when you're eating outside at Walt Disney World with the birds, man. They are aggressive.
And we get a lot of questions about solo traveling and stuff, and there's a lot of things to think about. So like if you're solo, because Scott, you always go with your family, so you don't think about this. But like when I go down for like a media thing or like for a race weekend and like you don't go and I'm not hanging out with you or something, and I go I go to Epcot, right? And I'm like, I gotta get me fish and chips, or I gotta get me the empanadas or something from over at Mexico, or the counter service. And I sit down with my order and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting life is so good. But then I'm like, dog, I forgot to get napkins.
I forgot napkins.
Or, dude, or like I got my, I'm getting ready to take my Instagram picture. I got my fish and chips. I got my fries. I got everything. And then I'm like, dog, I forgot to get malt vinegar and have them just put this thing over the top. And I'm like, oh. So then it's like, okay, I got a table, right? I've been stalking this table, so I got a table. But then do I like pick up my food and take it over real quick to that cart to get malt vinegar? Because if I do that, I'm going to lose my table. But then do I leave my food because I'm scared somebody's going to like clear my fish and chips thing?
It's your pop refill story at ABC's commissary all over again.
It's such a pickle when you're solo traveling. Like you need almost like make a little sign like
that's when you like
don't take my stuff, bro.
Acknowledge someone like, hey, yo, like if someone's walking around like, hey, do you mind giving me a few napkins? I'll give you a few French fries if you give me some napkins.
You do. You need help. I have done that. I've been like, look, I'm going to get malt vinegar. Please don't let them
can you
throw
just
my
watch
food.
My spot?
But with the birds, I mean, you know, that's a big ask. Like, dude, if those birds come in, could you just jump over my tray? please.
Dude,
and
it's
cart 'em.
game over. Like you might as well go up and reorder your food. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. And then it's another 30 minutes. Okay, real quick. So mine is kind of like an afternoon in the spring or in the fall kind of situation. And it's kind of like what Scott said, because this is the opposite. He said night. This is a good thing to do in the spring or in the fall in the afternoon, like during the day. And it's to get the Shogun platter at the Japan pavilion and sit next to the koi pond. Oh man, that is my jam. Because that's a daytime thing. Now you can do that at night, but I like it during the day because it seems like you can hear the live entertainment happening on the World Showcase Promenade. Sometimes the drummers are happening right below you down there if they have the live entertainment going there. If it's in the springtime, you might have the springtime bands playing over in the American Gardens Pavilion. You can hear them. If it's in the fall, you might hear some of the Eat to the Beat concert going on, early. Probably not because it's in the afternoon, so it's probably too early for that. But you might hear like earlier, they used to have Mariachi Cobre playing there. Now they're back to Mexico. But you can hear things happening. It's just, there's like you're up there and it's peaceful with the koi pond, but you can kind of still look down and see people scattering here and there. There's a heartbeat to Epcot and you're kind of looking down at all the action. So it's peaceful, but still you're close enough to see that you're at a theme park. And God, that food's good. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Platter. So yeah,
I actually like that spot during the day better too because like it's shady enough. Back
it is.
There, right?
It's cool, even though
like,
even when it's hot, it's not that bad up there.
Right.
For some reason.
And if you listen to our live show, Eric talked about this as his favorite snack, like that. You get like a shaved ice to go along with it too, Mike. Yep. I know I'm just like adding on to your scenario here, but like you might as well have a shaved ice too to go along with it. And like, oh man, and that is a perfect setting.
Little kakigori.
I want it right now.
Do you remember, again, speaking of things that we don't have anymore, but that were awesome? Remember when we had, what was it, the candy lady that made the cool candy?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Miyuki?
Yeah, she was amazing. We watched her and many times make those little candy sculptures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lady that used to be over at the Polynesian that made the lays. There's lots of cool little touches like that we used to have. Super cool.
Yeah.
All right, Ricky, what you got?
So this is usually the thing that I do in the summer when it's really hot. And because obviously, again, as I mentioned, I don't get there rope drop. I get there in the middle of the afternoon. So it's still really relatively blazing hot when I get there. So I will make sure. And again, this could also work in the winter when, it's getting a little chilly out and, you're starting to feel that nip in the air. I end up doing attractions that are mostly pretty much all indoors at those points of the day, like especially at the Magic Kingdom. So I'm going to hit up, the classic attractions at that point. I'm going to hit up Carousel of Progress. I'm going to hit up Country Bear Jamboree. I'm going to hit up Enchanted Tiki Room. And those are like all things that especially at the Magic Kingdom. And then usually I'll take a ride on the TTA. It's especially if it's summer because you got that breeze going a little bit. And that's like one of my favorite things is the breeze going during the afternoon on the TTA. But just getting into some of those places that are indoors. So it's not completely like you're not just dripping with sweat everywhere. You get a little bit of that air conditioning. The shows are long enough that you can really soak in the air conditioning a little bit and just enjoy. And I feel like that's a really good option. You could do, the same thing again at, some of the other parks, do some of those indoor attractions. I usually always do like Star Tours in the middle of the afternoon because it is hot. And so I'll usually do that one, like I mentioned before. And I'll usually do, at Animal Kingdom, it's probably like It's Tough to Be a Bug is probably the one I'll do. Now, of course, that's going to be going away here soon for the Zootopia attraction. Excited about that one. And then at Epcot, you've got a lot of choices there. You could do the Siege.
The pavilion, the pavilions help you. And you know what? It kind of, I've had days where I've been freezing at Walt Disney World in January.
Exactly.
I just want to be inside. And like the opposite, like going into this time of year can bail you
100%.
out. You just want to be like, because like on windy days, there's just those raw days every once in a while. You just want to be
warm. Yeah. And exactly. Can I get a little warmth today?
Yeah. You don't think about it, but it happens.
I have literally spent an entire afternoon in the Land Pavilion. I swear to you, I ate lunch at Sunshine Season. We did Living with the Land. We did Soarin'. We did the Awesome Planet. And like, it was seriously, I spent probably 3-4 hours in the Land Pavilion just that one day. It was
And
awesome.
because that's actually how the park was
was.
designed
It
for you
is.
to see it. We get so caught up in like gotta do. You know, that
Exactly.
it's actually enjoyable when you slow down. Yeah.
It is. It is. So if you do need like either to cool down for a little bit or warm up for a little bit, these are some great attractions to do that at.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I like, warm up and cool down because that's,
Yeah.
both kind of weather extremes, which
Exactly.
unfortunately we get
because
more
we've
often.
hit both,
Yes.
obviously, at Walt Disney World for sure.
Or even like a super rainy day because there's days now,
That's
you'll
true.
see like it could be raining from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But you still, you're on vacation. You only get X amount of vacation days. You don't want to sit in, your room at Pop
That's a good
Century
point.
for 12 hours. Just
Mhm.
poncho it up and bear down, have fun.
Yep.
All right, Scott, we got.
Sure. So I've done an attraction, I've done a restaurant. I'm gonna do a mode of transportation for my
Oh.
time. So I like to drive. Mike, you know
Ah,
this, right?
we do.
I'll rent a car a
You
lot.
are. I
And,
like that you like to drive because I usually hitch a ride.
right. And then because I'm not the biggest fan of the buses, but I like the Skyliner, I like the monorails and boats. Boats are my number one. But there are times though where like I will think about my strategy for like how long are we going to be in the park, especially in the summer months. Like how long are we going to be there? If we're going to be there after lunch and all that, I will say, let's take a bus.
Yes.
Not because of going to the park, because my favorite thing to do is after you spend a morning and a hot morning at Magic Kingdom, there's nothing better than having a nice cold air-conditioned bus with nobody else on it.
Yes.
That is the best relaxation of my trip, honestly, because as someone that's driving a lot and like on the go and all that, I just get to sit back and relax in the air conditioning after being like dog tired from being in the blazing sun that morning, and I just get to sleep in that air conditioning and relax for once.
You
So
just
nice.
nailed one of the top things like that we never talk about that might be one of the greatest things of a Disney vacation of all time. What do they say on social media? Like nothing hits like a Disney resort bus after
That's
at
true.
12:30 p.m. heading back to Coronado Springs after a rope drop morning in July or something like that.
And sometimes I hope the bus driver gets lost because I just want that ride to continue.
For
on.
real, I'm
Sometimes,
with
man.
you. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, because you're exactly right. Because I mean, it's almost like because sometimes it's just your family, right? And you're
I know
on there,
it's a
and
private bus.
it's like a rolling meat locker. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so cold, and it's 150 degrees outside, and you don't care. And like you're just getting a tour, like a private tour.
And a lot
Walt
of times
Disney
the bus
World.
driver like gets your vibe, like okay,
You
he wants to
totally,
chill. I'm not going to talk to him. Yeah.
Like you're gonna be asleep in 30 seconds. As soon as I they hit that thing with the air brake, it's like,
Yeah. But
and you're
even
just
if,
like
even if you don't sleep, like you can like post a couple photos from what you just, because if I'm
Yes.
driving, I'm not on social media. I'm
Yeah,
not sharing our photos
exactly.
or whatever.
Mhm.
It's a time where I can just like
Oh.
relax and like we spread out too. Like we're not like all three like seat next. Like
Yes.
Emily's in the far back.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle.
You
Lizzie's in
see
the
each other
front, we're
enough.
spread
You're
out.
together for a week. You don't got to be sitting by
Dude,
each other.
Isn't that not like the greatest part of vacation?
Oh
That
my God.
mid-afternoon bus. Like it's so
Mhm.
great.
This might be
And
the
it's better
best.
than any other bus. It's better than any other bus ride.
Oh yeah,
Easy.
this might be the best segment of the entire year on the show right here. You just nailed the secret of a Disney vacation. What do we pay for? Forget the deluxe hotel rooms, the fancy meals. Nothing hits like that bus at 12:30 in July going back to your resort when you're the only one on it and it's like 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
We got Jason, who's a local. He might do that in the mid. He might be working one day locally, and like, you know what? I need a good nap. I'm gonna drive the Magic Kingdom and just take the bus. I just need
That is
I need
so
a
true.
midday bus ride.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
man.
that is so right.
I'm
All
glad
right.
you two appreciate that.
No, I
one.
do, man, because I am so with you. Like when you do, like you're just like you've gone hard all morning, especially when it's hot. You've gone hard all morning, and you finally like, I got to tap out, man. I just had my Columbia Harbor House for lunch. Like clam chowder was a bad idea to have as my side in July, but I did it anyway because it's so good. I'm like, I got to go back and take a nap. It's like you're struggling, and like you walk up, there's nobody there. And then all of a sudden you see, oh my God, does that say Pop Century? Yes, it does. That guy pulls up, you walk on, he's like, let's roll. He doesn't even wait for anybody else. And that thing's
I
like
know.
42
Let's
degrees.
go.
You're like, oh, Walt Disney himself is smiling down from heaven on me. It's so good.
Just love it.
Ricky, close us out. What do you got as Walt Disney smiles down at me in a Pop Century bus for the next 20 minutes?
Oh my goodness. I don't know how I can ever live up to any of this. So I'm done. No, I think the last one that I'm gonna go with is honestly, it's the Wilderness Lodge, but it's at not now. It's not necessarily just at Christmas, which I know we talked about
Yes.
previously. Because Wilderness Lodge at Christmas is next level. Not gonna lie, it is fantastic. It is super super special. But in the winter in general, Wilderness Lodge is where it's at. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's
It is
cozy.
seriously,
Yeah.
it's cozy. It's got all the fireplaces, not just the secret one that we talked about before, but it's got the giant one in the lobby. It's just got that rustic feel that feels like winter to me. I don't know how else to explain it. It really does feel like winter. And it's such a homey feeling. I can cuddle up with a book and hang out in the lobby or somewhere and just relax, and it's perfect. Or you could go to the what used to be the Carolwood Pacific Room, but I'm not sure what it's called now. Hang out there and just chill and relax, and it's so wonderful to hang out there in the winter and just enjoy a little bit of relaxation on your vacation, because obviously that is an important part of vacation. That's why you're doing it, is to relax a little bit. So just take it in and enjoy, and I feel like this is the best place to do it, especially in the winter. You can't go wrong here at Wilderness Lodge.
And in the winter, Mike, I might have beat you to this, but then you could just hop over to Geyser Point. That's the best time to be
Yes.
outside too, and
Yes, that's
taking
true.
a cocktail too.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. Yes, I like that.
Yeah,
I
because
like
when
that a
you're
lot.
from a place where, say in December, January, February, even into March, where it has just been cold back home, and like you've had to wear a coat every time you step outside, a big puffy coat for 3-4 months. But you can go over, like, say, to a place like Geyser Point and just sit outside and enjoy a chicken sandwich and some fries and just feel like the sun on your face and like you can be in shirt sleeves. It's glorious.
So good. And then
That's
you go
so
back
good.
into that beautiful resort, all the things Ricky was just saying about. Oh man, I want to be there right now.
Oh, so good.
I know, it's so perfect. It is seriously one of Brian and my favorite spots to go in the middle of winter. We just kind of usually make a reservation at Whispering Canyon, most of the time for breakfast, but a lot of times we'll do it for dinner and just hang out there for a little bit and relax. And it's the perfect like winter experience.
We nailed it, I think, today. And
Yeah, I
appreciate
feel like we
Carl
did.
for the
Fun.
suggestion. Carl nailed it with the show topic suggestion.
We are ready for the weekend.
That's right. So thank you, Carl, for the show suggestion. You guys have show suggestions. We love those. You can either go to the Discord over at beourguestpodcast.com/Discord or Clubhouse, whichever one you want to add on there, and just jump in the current BOGP discussion. Say, hey, let's do a show on this. We'll definitely do that. Or Mike at beourguestpodcast.com for any listener questions or show topics. We love it. This is our show, all of us together. So we love this. So thank you again, Carl, for that suggestion. Don't forget, today's podcast brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure is out there. Whether it's the Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney, we'll help you plan that trip for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details this weekend over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all these shows possible. We could not do this without your support, so thank you so very much for that. It's $5 a month. That's all it takes, and you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this weekend. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike. Scott's at Epscott, EPSCOT. Also, check him out at Must See Adventures on YouTube. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS, also over at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. Also, check us out over on the Clubhouse. Come on over, join us, beourguestpodcast.com/Clubhouse. And in about 48 hours, we'll have the live call-in show. And we want you to give us a call. We had so much fun last Sunday night. We're going to do it again this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Just pick your place and give us a call. We'll talk Disney with you. All right, we're going to jump out of here and wish you a great weekend. Thanks for being a part of our community. We love it so much and hope you always enjoy the shows. So for Scott and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.